Doodly there, neighborinos. Hope you're having a flanderific day. I'm here with G.
Hello.
Cool, I was like, hey, he's gonna say something, right? Now I'm here with G, just nobody says anything. Great to have you in here, G.
Patrick!
Squidward!
Or Squidward, yeah, that's right. Good.
Either that or I'm just a total schizophreniac. I just think that you're doing this with me.
I am a voice inside your head.
I mean, maybe.
I am not real. Goodbye.
Oh no.
Let me make sure that my stream can actually hear you, because they cannot right now.
Oh, they can't? Oh no.
But you are not... I'm not streaming it, so...
Okay. I feel like everyone should be...
Oh. It's good.
Then no one can hear either of us then, if you're not streaming. Well, at least on your side.
I don't need to give credit. I just want to... Well, I guess the video will be playing in the background.
I'm going to be honest with you, G. I literally listened to... I was going through, and I was watching... it was the Christmas edition of Southern Fried Conviction. And I literally went and played Dave Brubeck Quartet during that stream, and it didn't get, like, copyright striked. Pretty funny.
Well, I'll be streaming the video in the background so they can see the people who made the songs.
Nice. Nice.
So it's not going to be... Yeah, I just wanted some soft background and something for people to watch while we read.
Yeah, yeah.
We're also live right now, so hello, everybody.
Hello there.
You might not be louder than the music. Hang on, let me turn the music down. Okay, there we go.
I was just saying hello there for everyone that may not have heard that.
I need to find my Bible app. There we go.
Before we get going, I just want to say when I was going back and rewatching that Southern Fried Conviction, there's one point where I'm reading about like the life of Jesus, and I go, all right, wait, I'm gonna stop. I don't mean to throw shade here, and I'm like, oh no, what am I about to say? And then it was the story where like Joseph and Mary had like lost track of Jesus, but he was back in the temple, and I was just like, how the fuck do you lose track of Jesus? He's only the Messiah.
How do you lose track of your son? And then secondly, the king.
Right, especially him. Yeah, and I was like, wait, what's going on here? I was like,
what verse are we on?
Did we get like? Did you get your stuff, Mary? Do we get the camel? 14. Did we get Jesus? You know.
That's crazy.
We're on 14. I thought we were on 13. What?
13. The parable of the sower.
Oh, that's true. What was that noise you just made there?
I was stretching. What do you?
Oh, it sounded like a Pillsbury Doughboy a little bit. So this is what made me think of, you know, like the Yahoo! I don't know why. I don't know why that's what I heard, but whatever.
Sorry, I'm tired.
No, you are all good.
Who I haven't seen in like 2 years, I've come over to go visit because one of my other cousins is getting baptized. So.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, we're gonna go watch them on Sunday. Him and his wife are getting baptized, so it's really cool.
Okay. Is it first time for both of them? Oh, I put my phone down. I'm sorry. I'll explain in a second. Okay, so I thought I had everything all nice and ready, and then I was like, wait a minute, why aren't the dudes coming into the killy bits? And it's like, oh, it's because I don't have the machine on. That's why they're not going into the killy bits. So I had to go ahead and like turn it on, winky face. And yeah, we're all good.
Oh, my phone fell asleep. All right. Are you starting or am I starting? Whoops.
I can start if you want.
It sounds great.
Cool.
Let's get into this.
Matthew 14, chapter 1. At that time, Herod... Wow, we're going back to Herod. I thought he was kind of done and out of the story by now. At that time, Herod...
Well, he's about to kill John the Baptist, so...
Oh, for some reason I thought that had already happened.
Nope.
No,
He's right
okay.
here.
Okay. All right. At that time, Herod, the ruler of Galilee, heard about Jesus. He is really John the Baptist who has come back to life, he told his officials. That's why he has this power to perform miracles. For Herod had earlier ordered John's arrest and had him tied up and put in prison. He had done this because of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife. For some time, John the Baptist had told Herod, "It isn't right for you to be married to Herodias." Herod wanted to kill him, but he was afraid of the Jewish people because they considered John to be a prophet. On Herod's birthday, the daughter of Herodias... I don't know if I... Herodias. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm having such trouble saying Herodias, but yeah. Danced in front of the whole group. Herod was pleased. Herod was so pleased that he promised her, "I swear that I will give you anything you ask for." At her mother's suggestion, she asked him, "Give me here and now the head of John the Baptist on a plate." The king was sad, but because of the promise he had made in front of all his guests, he gave order that her wish be granted. So he had John beheaded in prison. The head was brought in on a plate and given to the girl, who took it to her mother. Do we want to talk about any of this, or?
You haven't read the last verse?
Oh, I don't.
His disciples came and took the body and buried it, and they went to told Jesus.
Yes. Sorry, mine doesn't have like a header or anything, so I just kind of stopped.
Sorry, I have a next header. Jesus
No, you're good.
Is next.
I mean that's kind of like, wow, really? Like
right?
that's okay. All right.
Wait a minute, am I right? I'm just kidding.
Am I right?
I'm so kidding. Don't take. I'm so kidding. Don't take that the wrong way. That's gonna be my most watched portion of this video.
Yeah, no. Everyone's gonna tune in for this part, and they're gonna be like, "Gee, you're canceled. Hashtag canceled. You're done." Do you want to pick up on verse 13?
I got you.
Cool.
When Jesus heard what had happened, he withdrew by boat privately to a solitary place. Hearing of this, the crowds followed him on foot from the towns. When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them and healed their sick. As evening approached, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a remote place and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so that they can go to the villages and buy themselves food." Jesus replied, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." We have here only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish," they answered. "Bring them here to me," he said. They answered, he said. There we go. We're going to retcon whatever I just said.
Cool.
And he directed the people to sit down on the grass. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke the loaves. Then he gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people. They all ate and were satisfied, and the disciples picked up 12 baskets full of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate was about 5,000 men, besides women and children. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
So that number is definitely doubled, or maybe even tripled. And they had 12 baskets left over.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying was the crazy, or I thought was the crazy bit, was the fact that there was still 12 left over afterwards. What do you think they did with 12 baskets worth of bread? Like, I mean,
I don't know. I guess they took it on the travels.
But you would think it would get, well, it sounds like it's heaven bread, so maybe it doesn't get moldy. I don't know. Because that's what I was thinking, like, it can't carry all that around. too much, it's going to get moldy, but I guess if Jesus literally spawned it into existence, then it's probably
Right.
probably good. Probably fine.
So immediately, Jesus made the disciples get onto the boat and go ahead of him to the other side, while he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed them, he went up on the mountainside by himself to pray. I wish I could have stopped there, because I love the fact that even Jesus needed to get alone to talk to his Father, even though he is God. Like, he still needed to get alone and like go and have a connection with God.
Yeah.
By personal prayer time and stuff like this, what we're doing right now is so important.
Right.
Yes, we're not alone, but also, like, it's so good to get in the Word and have a personal relationship with God. Because even Jesus did.
Right, yeah.
And he was perfect. So
I was just going to add on that, like, this, I kind of consider this to be like what we're doing here, like church, you know?
Right.
But yeah, no, it's always important that like you go and like we go off and we talk with God and you know, try to learn more about him like on our own, and because that's like, you know, what helps build your personal relationship with him. And I think maybe that's what Jesus is trying to like demonstrate here with this passage, is that we all need to be doing this like all the time. And I feel like this isn't the first time like that this has happened so far in the book of Matthew. I feel like there have been other points where he's gone off and like, you know, and prayed by himself too. And I mean, and we also,
right before his death.
I was just about to say, we literally, then again, from what I remember, I don't think he wanted to be alone, but I think it just kind of ended up that way. Because everybody like fell asleep or something, right?
No, he went off by himself. He just wanted the disciples to stay awake.
Ah, okay. Maybe I'm just conflating the two.
Maybe.
Yeah. Because I remember...
sorry, where am I?
I think you were at 22?
I stopped in the middle of a verse. Later that night... Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, that was pretty much it. I wasn't going to add anything too important on.
Later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from the land, buffeted by the waves because of the wind against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, walking onto the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage. 'Tis I." Don't be afraid, sorry. It is I, don't be afraid. "Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, "tell me to come to you on the water." And he said, "Come." Then Peter got down out of the boat and walked on water and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith," he said, "why did you doubt?" And when they climbed onto the boat, the wind died down, and those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly you are the Son of God." When they had crossed over, they landed on Gennesaret. They landed at Gennesaret.
That sounds right. Sounds right. Gennesaret. That sounds right.
And when the men of the place recognized Jesus, they sent word to all the surrounding country. People brought all of their sick to him, and begged him to let the sick just touch the edge of his cloak, and all who were touched were healed.
Nice. I'd like to point out, isn't this the second time that Jesus has caused or has calmed a major storm out at sea, and like has all the disciples like, holy shit?
I don't know.
I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just thinking of this story again, but I feel like there was another time.
No. There is another time where he calms it. I don't know. I think this might be the first time.
Oh, okay.
Because the second time he's actually in the boat and he's sleeping.
Right. Yes, he's sleeping and they wake him up and he's just like, "Yeah, all right, calm down." And you're left to
Peace be
decide
still.
whether he's talking to the disciples or to the storm. Either way,
He says peace be still to the storm.
I was going to say either way, they both calm down.
Yeah, he says peace be still.
Something else that I think is just bizarre is that they think it's a ghost. Like, that's just crazy that, like, the idea of, well, I mean, I guess the idea of ghosts.
I mean, they saw miracles performed by Jesus, but I didn't think they would be like, oh yeah, he could just defy the laws of physics.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't know. He kind of just did with the 5 loaves
I guess with
and the
five
2
loaves,
fish.
Yeah.
That's pretty physics defying.
Destroyed, and Jesus was like, no, it can't be.
If I wanted to. Yeah, when you guys run the place, maybe you can try that. But right now,
that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Like Peter Quill in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, where he just like forms a ball in his hand of like energy.
Oh yeah, or here, doesn't he also do that with the thing that encases the stone too?
What are you talking about?
Remember how it's kind of like in this ball, like the silver ball, the rock, the stone?
That's not something he created. He touched it though.
Doesn't he kind of like?
That was the whole point.
Well, doesn't he like manifest it though at some point? Or am I just out of my mind?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've seen the first Guardians movie, and I think I saw it.
I need to rewatch the Marvels up until Endgame.
Right, same. Right. Yeah, we don't talk about anything after Endgame.
We don't talk about Bruno.
Except for maybe like, wait, Bruno?
Have you not seen Encanto?
What?
Have you not seen Encanto?
No, I don't even know what Encanto is.
It's a good Disney movie.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's an animated Disney movie. It's a musical. It's written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who was the guy that was behind Hamilton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Except for I kind of hated Hamilton.
Oh, don't put that slander on my podcast.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I mean, it's kind of a podcast. Well, I mean, I'm going to put it out there. I hated it. But then again, I also had a girl that I went to high school with who played it nonstop. So maybe that's why I also really hate it.
There's no way that came out when you were in high school. There's no way. When did Hamilton come out?
It would have been senior year.
And did Hamilton...
I'm just going to dox my age here. I was class of 2019.
Bro. It did premiere in 2015. Holy crap.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, that thing's been out for a while. You old yet?
You do realize we're the same age, Ultra.
I was going to say, I felt like we were the same age, which is why I was really confused why you were like, there's no way that was out when you were in high school. I was like, were we in high school at the same time?
I don't remember it in high school. But yep, 2015.
Yeah, I was going to say, I vividly remember that shit being out for a long time, at least 2017.
And then the film, the movie came out in 2020, which is crazy.
Oh, maybe you're thinking of the movie.
Yeah, that's still a year after I graduated, though. I thought that was way sooner.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised it was only 2020. I would have guessed like 2019. Well, maybe that was the hype in 2019 around Hamilton, as they were going to come out with the movie the following year. And
the only thing I remember about 2020 is Squid Games and COVID.
Yeah, I think that was the year I broke my hand. That wasn't fun.
All right. Well, I feel like we through that, so let's go to chapter 15.
Yes, let's do.
There wasn't a lot of juicy stuff to nitpick in that one.
Also, I do want to say that that would be pretty cool. That all you got to do is just like look at Jesus and just like believe, and you can like walk on water. Like that's pretty dope.
Right. There's
Like that's really cool.
There's a passage, and I can't remember what passage it is, but it talks about if you have faith as even as small as a mustard seed, you'll be able to look at this mountain and tell it to move, and it will move.
Yeah, I remember reading that. I don't remember which chapter that was in.
Dude, I'm like really good at quoting Bible verses. I am not good at knowing where that Bible verse is.
I'm starting to get a little bit better at that because like I'm starting to just watch more and more stuff, you know. And it's like I can like, or maybe I don't get the verse like word for word correct, but I get like the gist of what it's trying to say. I can be like, that's in here somewhere. Get to looking.
All right. Do you want to start with verse 1?
Sure.
All right, let's do it.
Then some Pharisees and teachers of the law came from Jerusalem to Jesus and asked him, "Why is it that your disciples disobey the teachings handed down by our ancestors? They don't wash their hands in the proper way before they eat." Jesus answered,
Sorry, that's kind of weird.
Right, that's really weird. Like, you really...
I'm sure we'll get an explanation here in a second, but that's a little weird.
Well, actually, are you talking about the law itself, or the fact that they're pointing this out? Okay.
The fact that it has to be a law, and the fact that they're actually not washing their hands before they... Dude.
So...
I mean, nowadays, I feel like it would be a little bit better than back then. They didn't have much sanitary stuff.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking, what exactly are they going to wash their hands with? I mean, I'm assuming the water is probably not the cleanest water in the world. But, okay. I also would like to point out that I think the reason that that's a law, that you have to wash your hands in a certain way, and I think this goes back to a lot of the Jewish laws in the Old Testament, like you shouldn't eat pork or shellfish, etc. It's all because God knows things that humans don't yet know. For example, you don't cook pork correctly, you don't cook shellfish correctly, what's going to happen? You're going to get sick, and in those days, it would probably kill you. All right?
Okay.
Obviously, we know that washing your hands now, you do that to get rid of the germs. They didn't know about germs back then. That's just God being like, don't be disgusting. I've created germs. They're nasty. You don't want them on your hands before you eat. So
that's why you keep getting TB and dying.
Right, exactly. And you can go back to a lot of the quote-unquote arbitrary laws of the Old Testament, and you can be like, oh, this isn't arbitrary at all. This is God trying to make sure that the Jews don't kill themselves by means that they don't even understand yet. Yeah, no, it's I actually watched a video on this, and it's really, really interesting. And that was kind of the main point in that video, was like the pork and the shellfish thing. And that's why when you get to Jesus, Jesus is like, yeah, you can eat pork and shellfish, it's cool. Because by that time, cooking science has advanced, and they kind of understand it a bit better. Or at least that's what I heard, and it's like, this makes a lot of sense. To me, at least.
I love how savage Jesus is in the next line.
Oh, okay, yes, that good point. We're moving on. And Jesus answers. Honestly, if you read the Bible, Jesus is savage as hell.
I love it.
So savage.
It's great.
And why do you disobey God's command and follow your own teachings? For God said, respect your father and your mother, and if you curse your father or your mother, you are to be put to death. But you teach that if people have something they could use to help their father or mother, but say this belongs to God, then they do not need to honor their father. In this way, you disregard God's command in order to follow your own teachings. You hypocrites! how right Isaiah was when he prophesied about you. These people say, 'God, honor me with your words,' but their heart is really far away from me. It is no use for them to worship me because they teach human rules as though they were my laws." Then Jesus called the crowd to him and said to them, "Listen and understand. It is not what goes into your mouth that makes you ritually unclean. Rather, what comes out of it makes you unclean." Then the disciples came to him and said, "Do you know that the Pharisees had their feelings hurt by what you said?" All right, there we go. It's confirmed.
The Pharisees were offended.
It's confirmed.
Jesus is getting canceled.
It's confirmed. It's biblically okay to hurt people's feelings. Biblically okay if you're correct.
He replied,
Hilarious.
"Every plant that my heavenly Father has not planted will be pulled up by the roots. Leave them. They are blind guides. If the blind lead the blind, they will both fall into the pit." And Peter said, "Explain the parable to us." Jesus said, "Are you still dull?"
Mine says, "You are still no more intelligent than the others."
He said, "Are you still so dull?" Jesus asked them, "Do you see that whatever enters the mouth goes into the stomach and then out the body? But the things that come out of the person's mouth come from the heart, and these defile them." I'm sure yours says this makes them clean or something.
Mine says, "But the things that come out of your mouth come from the heart, and these are the things that make you ritually unclean."
Right. "For out of the heart comes evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false testimony, and slander. These are what defile a person, but eating with unwashed hands does not defile them." Man, I just love how savage he is.
Right?
Peter's like, "Can you talk to me about that?" And he's like, "Are you stupid?"
Like, come on, man. Do I really have to explain this again?
He doesn't say it like that, but I just think it's funny.
Yeah. Another one of my favorite Jesus like roast moments is when he's telling them like, "Get away from me, you vipers, you brood," or something like that. Pretty funny. Pretty great. But yeah, no, what he's saying here makes so much sense that, like, you gotta watch what you're saying more because, like, the more you say things, like, the more you're willing to, like, I know it sounds like a big leap, but, like, act those things out, you know? Because it's like the whole, like, you're mentalizing it, right? And then your mentalization becomes your actualization. Yeah, so, like, I don't know, with me personally, right now, I am trying... I'm not even sure if this is technically taking the Lord's name in vain, but I'm gonna try not to say, like, you know, like... I don't really want to say it because, like...
You don't have to say it, can you just...
I think you know which one I'm going for, you know, like a damn it, you know? Or like...
Oh, yeah.
Or like, oh my, you know...
In my personal opinion, I definitely feel like GD is definitely taking the Lord's name in vain.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'm trying not to do it regardless. So.
Right. I'm not trying to condemn you.
Oh, I know. That's right. That's not what we're here to do, right?
Right.
But yeah, like I said, that's what I'm. So I just wanted to say that because I feel like that's kind of like, oh yeah, I can kind of relate to this right now. Like this is kind of like what I'm trying to do right now, you know, like my goal.
Yeah, that's good that you're doing that.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's like obviously you can't like not sin if that makes sense, but there are definitely steps you can take to reduce that, you know?
Right. And I mean nobody's perfect, but the whole point of Jesus is that we don't have to be.
Right,
you
exactly.
Can go out and be like do whatever the heck you want. Jesus
right,
can forgive you. No, you
right,
can still strive to be like him, but like
It
You're
do-
gonna fall. You're gonna trip. The Bible even says, "For all have fallen short of the glory of God."
right. Even
And
like the best people that you can think of from the Bible, like David, they've all sinned.
right, there was only one perfect person, and they killed him. So,
Right. Yeah, no, I think that's like a great message, and I feel like that's one that I think I brought up in the last episode that you weren't here for. But like, yes, you're not gonna be perfect, and like that's okay, but that doesn't give you like impunity to go through and like sin however many times you want because
right,
Jesus is gonna
you
forgive it.
gotta at least
It's not a
make the
hall
effort.
pass. Right. You got to
Right.
try. It's a two-way streak. It's like any relationship. If one person tries and the other person doesn't, that relationship is gonna fail.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say something. Oh, on the note of the speech thing, I am a firm believer in personal conviction. So everybody's walk with Christ is different. If you feel personally convicted when you say certain words, don't say them. If other people are saying them, that claim they're Christians, you don't know what's going on with them right now. So it shouldn't affect you in that sense.
Right.
Does that make any sense?
No, that totally 100% makes sense. I feel like what you're getting at here is just because everyone else is doing something, it doesn't mean that you should do it, and you should do what you feel like you've been called to do by the Holy Spirit, and
Right.
you'll be able to know the Holy Spirit has called you to do it because it'll match up with the scriptures, you know? You're not going to get a message
Right.
from the Holy Spirit that tells you to go rob a
Right.
bank.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And so it's like if you feel personally convicted about watching rated R movies, then that's your personal conviction. But don't judge somebody else for being Christian and watching rated R movies, if that makes sense.
right. And that's a huge...
Everybody has their own walk.
Exactly, that's a huge thing. Real quick side question here. Are you a Baptist?
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say I feel like you're a Baptist based on what I've heard. Sorry, just that's another thing I've been watching because I want to do a video on that, like all the different like branches of Christianity, and I feel like that is the main solid thing for Baptist is that it's just your personal relationship with Jesus is the most important thing.
Right. Believe the Bible. Like whatever the Bible says is law.
Right.
And then any other things that cannot be specifically interpreted from the Bible is your own personal conviction, and that is your own personal walk with God.
Right. See, for me personally,
alcohol is a big thing. Like I'm not a person that believes that alcohol is bad. It can be bad if you use it wrong. But
right.
It is. But for me, I still drink. But that's my own personal walk because I don't feel convicted about drinking. But if somebody else, say you do have, not alcoholism. Let's say you are an alcoholic. There we go. That's the word.
Okay.
And you do become Christian, or you become an alcoholic while you're Christian, whatever. And you feel convicted about that, and you stop that. That is great. That's great for you. I'm going to support you all the way through that.
Right. Well,
that's your own personal walk.
I've got a little bit of a different view on that. So for me personally, I think that's a sin. Like having a drink is fine, but alcoholism is a sin because essentially,
right. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, essentially you're worshiping the alcohol more than Jesus.
Right. That's what I was getting at.
It's all like, yeah, exactly. I feel like we're saying the same thing. It's just if you can walk away from it, then it's fine.
Right. If like in the future you do feel convicted, then
right.
And
of course. Because I mean,
as long
like,
as it doesn't go above God, like even anything can become a sin.
Right.
Like, that's why the other day I made it a point to do this stream first before I did a video game stream because I'm like I've been playing a lot of video games. I need to give that time to God before I do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like anything in excess that you put before God is an idol, which is a sin.
Correct.
All right, back on topic.
Yeah, back to it. Yeah, this is a great episode. Let me just say, great episode. Such great content here. All right.
Leaving that place, Jesus withdrew to the region of Tyre.
Tyre, I think.
Tyre.
Mm-hmm.
Tyre. We're gonna go with Tyre and Sidon. A Canaanite woman. Oh, it's the woman at the well.
Oh, okay.
I think. Never mind.
Oh. No.
A Canaanite woman from that vicinity came to him, crying, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me. My daughter is demon-possessed and suffering terribly." Jesus did not answer a word, so his disciples came to him and urged him, "Send her away, for she keeps crying after us." Jesus answered, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of Israel." The woman came and knelt before him. "Lord, help me," she said. He replied, "It is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dog." What? Oh. "It is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs." "Yes, it is, Lord," she said. "Even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table." But Jesus said to her, "I am very confused. What is happening?"
So in mine it says, starting at 26, Jesus answered, "It isn't right to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs." "That's true, sir," she answered, "but even the dogs eat the leftovers that fall from their master's table." So Jesus answered her, "You are a woman of great faith. What you want will be done for you." And at that very moment, her daughter was healed. Would you like to finish on 29?
Yep.
Cool.
That's actually the next header. Sorry, I completely butchered that. Yes, it is, Lord.
No, you're good.
I thought she was being contrarian, but...
Well, no, I feel like your translation was a little confusing, because I was confused as you were reading it.
Anyways, that's good. Jesus healed the Canaanite woman's daughter because she had faith in him.
Yeah, and that's also really cool because she's not a Jew. This shows that like Jesus not only came for the Jews but for like all of us. And also
the music I'm listening to in the background just got like really heavy with like drums and orchestral.
Yeah,
it's like we're getting to the nitty gritty.
I know, I heard. But also it's kind of fucked up that the disciples were just like, "Get rid of her, man."
They do that often.
Yeah, like come on.
And it just shows how human they are. Like
right.
And I think that is cool. Not that.
Yeah.
Get rid of her. I think the fact that Jesus chose ordinary people to do extraordinary things.
Right, and they show their humanity along the way.
And, I mean, they're all friends. Like, Jesus talks to them like they're his friends, because they are.
Right.
And it's just really cool to see the interactions between the disciples and Jesus.
Yeah.
Now we're getting 4,000.
And I also just want to point out, because, I mean, we've all been there where, like, we're doing something, we're out somewhere, and this crazy person kind of comes over, you know, and they're, you know, probably not the most, like, mentally stable, you know, and I've been there where it's like, I'm trying to be nice, but it's also like, please go away. You know, it's hard. It's hard. So, I mean, I imagine that must be similar to what the disciples are going through at this moment. Like, to them, they just see this crazy person. You know? That's just, like, wailing, and it's just, like, again, like, probably we don't get the full context in here, because, I mean, it's just kind of a story in passing, you know? It's not, like, the most detailed thing in the world. We probably don't get the bit in the story where they're, like, you know, maybe trying to be nice to her or whatever, and, like, get her to, like, get along, you know. And then after a while, it probably just grates on them a little bit. You know?
Have you heard of the TV show called The Chosen?
No, I haven't.
Okay. It is pretty cool. They do take some creative liberties on some things, and so take it with a grain of salt. It's not like this is super canon, but
Okay.
it is. It's about Jesus' life, and so they have a person that's playing Jesus, and they have a people that are playing his disciples and everything, and it just goes through his walk.
Mm-hmm.
And what they do really good is they fill in like the blank spaces. They fill in in between the lines of the Bible.
Yeah.
And like I said, take it with a grain of salt. But it's cool to see like what could have happened in between these moments. Like what could have happened on his journey between here and here. Like it's cool. I like the way that they do it.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. What's it on?
And it's on, I think it's called Angel. It might actually just be called The Chosen. Like it's a.
Oh, it's not like on YouTube or Netflix or.
It is on YouTube, apparently.
Okay, nice. I will definitely check it out then if it's on YouTube. Love YouTube. It's great. You can find anything, pretty much. Totally random, but kind of hilarious.
Oh, you have to pay for it.
Oh, that's super lame.
Let's see.
I can see. Maybe someone's dun 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 dun.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to read between the lines, I guess.
Anyways, it's called The Chosen.
Okay.
I highly suggest people watch it. It's really good. They have like authentic. This is gonna sound really bad, but Arabian like actors.
Right.
Actually,
they got people from the Middle East to play Middle Easterners.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's nice that we don't get to see like white Jesus. like that's always like bothered me. It's like, but he wasn't white though.
Right.
Like he was literally born in like Israel, man.
It's King James, man. King James decided to ruin things.
I guess. I mean that's Israel is like one of the least white places you can go. I don't know. Again, King James, man.
Verse 29.
Verse 29.
Jesus left there and went along on the Sea of Galilee. Then he went up the mountainside to sit down. Great crowds came to him, bringing the lame, the blind, the crippled, the mute, and many others, and laid them at his feet, and he healed them. And people were amazed when they saw the mute speaking and the cripple made well, the lame walking and the blind seeing. And they praised God, the God of Israel. Jesus called his disciples to him. Oh my gosh. Jesus called his disciples to him and said,
Okay, William Shatner.
For these people. Say what?
Said, okay, William Shatner. Jesus called his disciples to him and said... Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I have compassion for these people, and they have already been with me 3 days,
dang,
and have nothing to eat. I do not want to send them away hungry, or they may collapse on the way. His disciples answered, "Where would we get enough? Dude, did you not just see? Oh, is this the same thing?
Wait,
this might just be a retelling of that story."
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, like, what happened to the 12 baskets you had before, but if it's the same story, I guess that makes sense. Though very strange, I don't remember it being in the Bible twice. Well, this is what time it says 4,000.
Right, it also says 7 loaves and a few small fish.
Oh, maybe it happened twice.
I have to talk about that. Maybe it happened again.
Yeah, maybe it happened twice, but we were always just taught it as, like, one event. You know what I mean?
Where could we get enough bread in this remote place to feed such a crowd? How many loaves do you have? Jesus said. 7, they replied, and a few small fish. he told the crowd to sit on the ground. Then he took the 7 loaves and went. When he had given thanks, he broke them and gave them to the disciples. And they turned to the people. They ate and were satisfied. Afterwards, the disciples picked up 7 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate were 4,000 men, besides the women and children. After Jesus sent the crowd away, he got onto the boat and went to the vicinity of Magadan.
Oh, maybe it is the same story, because it says 4,000, not including the women and children. So maybe including the women and children, it's 5,000.
Well.
Oh, it said no. Oh, okay. All right. Never mind. Debunked.
Maybe it did happen twice. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to go ask my dad about that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't remember this happening twice, and back to back, no less. Huh. Okay. This is also really random, but I just wanted to say this since you had brought up The Chosen. On YouTube, I found this series that Fox News has. I don't remember what the series is called, but it's basically going through the life of Jesus, and it's the guy who's like the host of the show is Pete Hegseth, who is our current Secretary of Defense, and I just think that's hilarious. That the SecDef is over, like, in Israel talking about, like, the life of Jesus. Like, that's great. Also, I feel like that's how you know we've got a winner in there. Like, he literally what he was doing before was like teaching about the life of Jesus. Like, yeah, okay.
You know what movie I want to watch?
What?
It's called The Split. It's Angel Studios are a Christian-based company. They recently made the movie about the dude saving the children from child trafficking.
Okay,
I can't remember what that
sounds great. I'm not sure what it's called.
Sound of Silence, I think.
Okay. Just makes me think of the song.
Sound of Silence. The Sound of Freedom.
Sound
of Freedom. It came out in 2023. It's a good movie. If you ever want to go watch it, it's not for everybody because it does deal with sex trafficking, which is awful. It's specifically on kids. But it's about a real life dude that did all these really good things for these kids. I need the. Yeah, he goes to the Colombian jungle and rescues like all these kids from this trafficking ring.
Oh, that's probably like, I know that there's not like a good sex trafficking ring, but that's probably like about as bad as it gets. Like out in the middle of the Colombian jungle and you're in a sex trafficking ring.
Tim Ballard. That's who the real life guy is.
Oh, okay.
So, the real life guy is Tim Ballard. You should look up his story. It's a really, really good story.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. This always is so heavy. This kind of stuff. Right. That's why I'm like, take it with. Yeah.
It's not for everybody, but it's such a good story just to like see the way that God
that is
works
true.
in this guy's life.
Yeah, it's all worth it for the end of the story, though.
But anyways, what I was talking about is The Split.
Okay. At first, I thought you were talking about the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Maybe it's not called The Split. Angel.
Yeah, I think The Split is the M. Night Shyamalan.
The Shift.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if you've seen The Arrow. Have you seen The Arrow? Like the CW series?
Yeah. Yes, I have. Unfortunately.
The Arrow is actually really good until like
The first
Later seasons,
the first season is good.
Whoa.
And I like
that's a stretch.
I like some of the stuff with like what's his face? Deathstroke. The guy that got to play Deathstroke was very good.
Blade, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
But like
but anyways, I don't know if you've seen the one with the dude that does the voodoo magic.
are you talking about Dr. Vertigo? Or Count Vertigo?
No. There's a season where the arrow goes up with a dude that literally has voodoo magic.
Oh,
Like he can stop his arrows and stuff like that. That was a good season. I enjoyed that. Anyways, the guy who plays the evil guy in that one actually plays the devil in this movie.
Oh, okay.
And he's like a very strong Christian, and it's really cool because he was like, I went into this like everybody's like, why are you playing the devil? Isn't that like sacrilegious? He's like, no. I'm going to portray the devil as this person that everybody should hate. And he's like, I'm going to do it well. You should hate me by the end of this movie. And I'm like, oh, that's a really cool like testimony with it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great because like it's disturbing. And I know this is going to sound like a little off the deep end here, but I'm going to say it because it makes sense if you really think about it. You take a look at all of like pop culture, whether it's movies, music, whatever. It very much seems like the devil is controlling all of it because you take a look, and what do we've got? We've got like "Sympathy for the Devil" by the Rolling Stones. You've got like, what's that movie with Jack Black and Michael Cera?
Minecraft? I'm just kidding.
Oh. No, it's the Tenacious D in The Pick of Destiny.
Oh, you said movie.
Yeah, it's a movie.
This is Tenacious D is a band.
Yeah, it's also a movie. That's like where
I did not know that.
Yes, I think where the band came from, right?
I don't know. I will take your word for it.
Well, anyway, there's a movie where Jack Black, and maybe it's not Michael Cera, maybe it's just Jack Black and some other dude. They have to find this pick that's going to like help them play guitar better. But it turns out that the pick is the devil's horn. Whereas like where it comes from, it's a piece of the devil's horn. And it turns out that like the devil plays like guitar and whatever, and he's played by Dave Grohl in the movie.
Went down to Georgia. He played the fiddle. I'm sure he can play guitar.
I mean, yeah. He wasn't the best though. He wasn't the best.
No.
He thought he was. He thought he was. Johnny was better though. As a matter of fact,
was better. And he got that golden fiddle.
He done told him once. He's the best there's ever been.
It's the best that ever been.
Yeah, but anyway, getting back to really old ones. But getting back to what I was saying, you take a look. No, I mean hell, even like Paradise Lost or whatever, and that's really old. You take a look, and it's like you get these very, very sympathetic devils that is supposed to be like, no, he's not that bad, actually. Like, he's a misunderstood creature. And, like, I feel like that is 100% the devil being like, I'm a misunderstood creature. Right. Well,
which, in my opinion, and I'm sorry, it is actually a pretty good show. But
technically for that... What?
What were you saying?
I was going to say, technically for that one, you got to blame Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman was the one that wrote Lucifer. It's part of a DC comic called the Sandman.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's the same comic.
DC.
Right, it's the same one that introduces Constantine, I think. No, wait, no, Constantine, never mind. He debuted. Right. No, he debuted in Swamp Thing.
Oh.
But he shows up in Sandman, though.
Yeah, I'm not a comic book reader.
I'm a comic book nerd, so don't worry. I got us covered here.
Keep me straight.
Right. There was one bit, I think it might have been of Sandman, either that or Lucifer, where so they don't really have God in the DC universe, but they've got one called the One Above All, and he's basically supposed to be God. So he like meets up with Lucifer at the edge of like reality or whatever, and I don't know why, but God wants to swap places with the devil for some reason.
Interesting.
But the devil is like so, like got his head so far up his own ass. Like literally, he basically comes out and says, like earlier in the comic, that the one thing Lucifer wants is to be God. But he wouldn't trade places with God to be God because he doesn't want God to be the devil or something stupid like that, so he just ends up leaving. I don't know. I just was like, what the hell? What is this? Why is this?
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, the shift what I was talking about is apparently a modern retelling of the Book of Job, which is kind of cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel like
and there's a really good musical that came out in the early 2000s that's about if Jesus would have been born in the early 2000s instead of back when he was. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, honestly.
I think it's called Zero.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like it would be very confusing if Jesus were to come back, like, or were to come, like, during our time. Just because, like, there's just so much bullshit going on right now, you know? Like, with the internet.
Yeah, this would have been the perfect time.
And, I mean, well, technically any time is the right time for him to come back, but...
Right.
but,
time's always right.
But, like, for the first time, like, right now, oh, just, like, again, think of how many people right now are on TikTok and YouTube and blah, 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 Instagram, whatever, claiming that they are literally God. Like, how many right now are doing that? And it's like, I mean, I'm sure there were people doing it back then, but, like, I feel like most everyone knew those people and were like, yeah, this is one of those people, you know, out here blaspheming and shit. But now it's like they can just move on and find the next sucker. And then sooner or later, there's a pile of suckers, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it does make it easy when Jesus can do, like, real miracles and shit, but, like, at the same time, like, right now, I feel like people would look at it and they'd be like, oh, well, that's CGI, that's the AI, that's not real, it's fake. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why it's like, I'm really glad that he came back then first. Because we've got a nice setup, you know, like, real easy, a lot of foundational work. So when he comes back, we're going to be like, yep, that's him. That's him. We read it in the book here.
Right.
That's him, yeah.
Well, thank you, Ultra, for doing this. I'm glad I got to make it this time.
Yeah, no, I'm always glad to have you here, G. Always glad to have you here.
Is. I'm glad we get to do this together. I know I'll probably only be on the Bible study days, but hey, at least I'm here.
Right, exactly. It makes it so much better. It really does. Like, there's a huge difference in quality when you're on the stream. They're always so much better. Like, I mean, like I said, this whole stream was just gold. Absolute gold from start to finish.
Well, I'm glad to be doing it with you, Ultra.
And I'm glad you're doing it with me.
Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Remember to go forth and fight with honor, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you, and God bless.
All right, and thank you, G, for doing this here with me. Thank you to anyone who may have tuned in with me. I just realized I didn't have the comments on at all. So someone might have been saying something, and I
At
just
least you're streaming,
at least we're streaming. That is right.
right?
Uh oh, I actually do have a viewer. Oh my wow. My voice. Okay. No, okay, never mind. No one commented anything. I forgot that I had my sound on because I've been like editing YouTube videos all day long. But yeah, thank you, G, for doing this here with me. Thank you to anyone who may have tuned in and didn't chat with me. I really appreciate it. Thank you to the YouTube crowd who's gonna like and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.